All right, everybody, welcome back. So this is going to be another layout update. So we're still working on the manufacturer's railroad, and what I'm going to be doing is getting the fascia ready now for the installation process. So I'm going to start getting all the pieces. They're all pre-cut. I'm going to get some holes drilled, and then we're going to start mounting the fascia, and then we're going to cut out the openings for our UTP panels. So let's get started, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, so I was able to get 3 pieces of fascia on. And so far, I'm pretty pleased with the results. What I'm doing is I'm using this fine thread drywall screws temporarily just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to be using a more decorative screw, a little bit bigger too. And I'll finish these off after I paint them. So I'm doing all the pre-drilling now. And then once I paint them, and then I'll put the permanent screws in. So the next step is I got to go around the front, and I'll show you one challenge I'm going to have there, but that shouldn't be too bad. So we'll be right back. All right, so with this corner of the actual layout, this is River Street. This used to be part of the old layout, obviously, and this sat in between a doorway. So this is where the lift bridge, the original lift bridge, hooked up into, and it slid in here and it locked in. I had a little, it was like a little bolt lock that locked it in place. So all this has got to come out, and I'm gonna have to take my specialty tool and cut in here, and then cut all this out. So when I put the new pieces of wood in here, it's gonna fit, and then I have to rebuild this corner. So another little challenge for me, but this shouldn't be too bad. So we'll be right back, and then hopefully I can get a few more pieces in tonight, and then I need to finish it up before the end of the week. So because I have other deadlines I got to meet on this layout. So we'll be right back. All right, so I got the corner all fixed. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but what I did is I cut this piece, obviously screwed it in, drilled these holes, and then I had to cut this piece at an angle. And then what I did is I put 3 screws underneath there, and it's solid. So I thought for sure I was gonna have to put something in here, but it's pretty good. So it's ready to go. So what I can do in this section here, I can just take a piece of 2-inch pink foam and stick it down in there, and that's it, we're done. So we are good to go. So I'm gonna get the I'm gonna start putting the rest of the fascia on. I'm gonna work my way around. So hopefully I can get a few more pieces in, and then I'm gonna call it quits because it's getting late. So we'll be right back. All right, so I got the fascia on all the way to halfway through River Street. Now, if you take a look at this piece is a little different, and I'll show you. I had to set the screws a different way. So I set the same distance, but I didn't need them up here, so I just brought it down on this section here. All right, because this is where pieces of wood are. And just to show you, this is what I'm screwing the actual fascia piece to. So I increased the amount of screws that were on the bottom, and then on top, this is the harbor area. I'm gonna put some vessels in here, some smaller boats, and this, let's see if I can angle the camera. I'm gonna have to draw a line, so I'll take my pencil, draw a line, and then just like that. So then when I take it off, I'll trim it, and then I'll put it back on. So I'm gonna have to do that over here, and then also over at Bell Dock. So definitely made some good progress tonight. My goal is to have this done by Friday of this week. It is now Wednesday, so I have to get it done by Friday to meet my deadline. So I'll explain more of that in another video. But all right, so we're going to pause the video for tonight, And then we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Well, I will be back at it again tomorrow. So we'll see you at the next segment. All right, guys, so I finished the fascia installation for now. Now it's getting late, so I'm going to take a break from this. But as you can tell, all the pieces are in place. And the next step is what I have to do is I have to cut the holes for my UTP panels. So I have to figure out the position of those, and then I have to trim. I got to trim these pieces because this is the actual harbor. So I'm going to take care of that tomorrow, and then hopefully over the weekend I'll get these things in paint. So that's going to wrap up this segment. So I'm going to turn in for the night, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start again. All right, so I'll see you at the next segment. All right, everybody, so it is the following day, and I'm starting to cut the fascia to size, and as you can tell, it's starting to look really good. And one of the things I'm doing is cutting out for the UTP panels. And what I'm using basically is this Dremel tool, which is a nice little saw. It's perfect for the fascia. And if you're using this type of tool, make sure you're following the directions for safety precautions, and make sure you're using the proper gear to protect yourself. So as you can tell, I cut it and I went past the line a little bit, but that's fine. And I'll show you why in a second. Let me put my saw down, and then here's one of my panels. So it slips in there like that. So if you notice, this mark is down here, but it's not going to impact it at all. All right, so we're going to keep going. Now I'm going to pull this piece off, and I got to cut this section off. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, so now you can tell how nice the fascia is starting to take shape. It's not 100% even, but once I put the water in there, that'll hide that. So it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's acceptable to me. So got this piece done too. I'm going to have to cut a small little section to drop in there, but that's not a big deal at all. All right, so we're going to keep going on, and hopefully I'll get this done tonight, and talk about paint tomorrow, or before the weekend's out anyway. All right, we'll be back. All right, everybody, so I was able to get all the fascia cut. It's ready to go. All the way down. So I even cut a small piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this and just glue it in. And that'll work just fine. All right. And we keep moving around. I may angle this down. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But that was the corner I rebuilt. Let me come across here. All the way around. And this is the last panel that I cut. So I need to take the, that's going to fit in there just like that. All right, so we'll be back. So the next step is I'm going to take these off, paint them, and these are going to be the hunter green color. And then I'm going to be using different screws. I'm going to be using a larger screw with a finishing washer. So it's going to look really nice. All right, so the next step is painting. So let's start doing this one at a time, and then we'll get all this painted and then put it back on permanently. We'll be back. All right, everybody, welcome back. So now we're going to be weathering the track. As you can tell, this is the industrial area. Everything is off the industrial area, and I started taping up the switches. So what I'm taping up is the actual points and this little pivot point here. And I'm doing that on all the switches. So once I get all those taped up, I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum Camouflage, and the color I'm using is Earth Brown. All right, and I did one small section just to see how it's going to look, and so far I'm liking the results. Now, what I'm going to do after I paint the Earth Brown, I'm going to come back and then I'm going to put everything back on the layout. But once I start scenicking, the only thing I have to do is do the ties, and then I can ballast them. All right. So, but obviously I had to take all the stuff off when I'm using the spray paint. Now I'm going to be doing this indoors, so I'm going to have to set up some fans and get this place ventilated. But if you're going to be spraying the stuff indoors, make sure that you protect yourself and make sure you have proper ventilation so you're not breathing this stuff in. All right. So let's check out the other side of the layout. All right, so we're on River Street now, and what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cover this street running section, and then I'm going to weather this. So most likely this is going to be not covered by streets, not yet anyway. We'll see how I do. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to weather this track or bury it in the streets, but I'm going to weather it anyway so I don't have to pull everything off the layout again. I'm gonna have to tape all this up as well. I may just, some of this is weathered already, so I may just leave it the way it is. Towards the back, I'm gonna have a background building there, so I won't have to weather that track. The bridge will eventually come out and be modeled to look like the Thomason Street Bridge. So that's gonna be all street running. All that is going to be street running. So from this point all the way here is all going to need to be weathered. Same with this. And again, I'm going to be leaving the street running for the back. Now, probably to this point here, let's see, the street running is probably going to come right up to this switch here, and then the rest of this will be the yard. So I'm going to weather all of this. All this is Bell Dock Yard, so all this will be weathered. And as you can tell, I took out the pink foam. That's going to be painted. I'm going to paint it like a earth color or black, whatever I have, and then I'm going to glue it down and then scenic it once I'm ready to. But so far it's looking pretty good. As you can tell, the layout's got nothing on it, but I'm definitely making some good progress. So let's get started and I'll get all this stuff weathered up. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, so all the track has been weathered that I wanted to weather. There's some sections like that section there, it's not weathered because that's going to all be street running anyway. So I wasn't going to waste paint on that and time to tape those switches. But somebody asked me a question in the community page about how I protect the electrical end of it. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting a piece of tape, like I showed you in the previous segment. I put a piece of tape over the points, and then I also put a piece of tape over where the two rails pivot. So all right. So then what I'll do is I'm going to go in here anyway, because this is the base color I'm going to use for the weathering of the track. I'm going to do a separate video just on weathering track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand paint all this. I'll hand paint the rails on the sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this like a greasy, grungy black, like the real switches are when they oil them and they maintain them. All right. And then over here, I'll just blend all this in. So when I start putting scenery down, I'll show you more on that. But I will do a separate video just on weathering track. So this is going to be the last update or last segment for this update. The next video you'll see is I'm going to be painting the backdrop. I got the paint ready to go. And then I'm also going to be taking the fascia pieces off, painting them, and then putting them back on. Once I do that, then I'm going to start my live feed for my layout work and weathering and ballasting and scenery and all the other stuff. So I put a poll out on my community page, and everyone seems to want to see live streams of me working on the layout. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So once I get all this track cleaned up, I'm going to test run the locomotive. So I'll start the live streams with that. But basically, I'll show you what I'm doing, how I clean the track. You just take a simple Bright Boy. And it cleans the rail. And the same with here. Now, when you do these switches, what you want to do is go gentle. You don't want to really press too hard. Let the Bright Boy do its job. And that knocks the paint right off. I know there's a million ways that you can clean your track, but this is how I do it after I weather it. All right, so I still gotta do quite a bit. So I'm going to do this off camera, but this is gonna end this segment. So this is Ron at New Haven Rails. Hope you enjoyed this video, this layout update. I'm gonna continue my work on this layout, and I am aiming to have an op session within a month. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So tune in to the next layout update. But for now, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Comment if you want. And I try to answer all the comments that everyone leaves on my videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video.